Ye Samaké. My real name is Nyankoro Ye Samaké. I am the mayor of Ouélessébougou. I have been elected in 2009 and we have a 5-year term ending in 2014. I'm currently the vice president of the League of Mayors, which includes 703 mayors of Mali. 703 mayors in Mali. And on top of that, I'm into politics. I'm the president of a political party called the Party for Patriotic and Civic Action, PACP in French, Parti pour l'Action Civique et Patriotique. Now, I'm here to talk to you specifically about my experience as a mayor and what brought me into politics. I was not a politician until 2009, January of 2009, when the mayor, the sitting mayor, Ouélessébougou, was up for re-election. And he came to me and asking for financial support. I asked him some questions because he got me very interested in the city I was born in. And the name, by the way, is Ouélessébougou. Ouélessébougou is the name of my city. Now the mayor also had a challenger who also came to me and asked for support. These are people I know, I've known since I was in my infancy. Now I asked the mayor, who is in his 70s, what is his plan? What is he going to do for the city? And he has been mayor for 10 years. What has he accomplished? His response was concerning and alarming, because he was mainly focused, this was a job for him. He was getting a job, getting paid, and taking care of himself was his priority. Second came his pretender, and his response was the same. He had invested in elections after elections and didn't win and had borrowed money. And he owes money to people and he needs to be elected so that he can pay back. Now, that is of concern, and this is probably not new in African politics. So I went back to the people and started asking questions about the performance of the man. It turned out that people were paying less than 10% of the taxes. Talk about low compliance. The people of Ouélessébougou were no longer paying taxes because they were now receiving any services. No schools were being built, no teacher was being paid for the community. People were forced to put their hand in their pocket and pay for the teachers. Because of that, they decided that government was now worth investing in, so they stopped paying taxes. And the little money they would pay, the mayor would take it and put it in his pocket and build a nice house in the capital city and drive to those cities in Ouélessébougou. So the cycle was closed. The city was failing. That was the observation that I got. So I felt compelled that I need to do something. I was not in politics, I was in development, building schools and training teachers and also providing scholarships to students. But this is my birth state. Ouélessébougou was founded by my great-great-great-grandfather, 7th generation. I would be the chief in Nigeria, actually. Now, but I have a stake in this area. I thought that Ouélessébougou gave me everything I have, including education. I felt indebted to my community. So I decided that the best thing I can do is to run for mayor. But there was a lot of obstacles. I will skip some of those for the sake of today's topic. But I was an external because I lived in America for 12 years. And that's why I speak English, because Mali is a French-speaking country. So as I made this decision, it meant that I would forego some personal opportunities. But it was well worth it. because taking care of 55 to 70,000 people is more important than taking care of one individual. So based on that decision, I came and ran for mayor, but in the process, I cut because they had already started the campaign. I came 3 months before the election. I traveled to tribal leaders. My city is composed of 44 villages. In those 44 villages, each village has a chief of the village and a village council, composed of head of their households. I traveled to these villages and came and talked to them about what I had observed, that they not pay their taxes. And I said, I do understand why they not pay their taxes, and that's exactly why I'm running for mayor. If they place the trust in me, I will swear not to misuse $1 or $1 of their tax money. They said, well, what kind of politician are you? That's new here. They didn't believe that. I said, not only that, I will not watch anyone misusing that. They said, well, that's not going to be possible. I said, just give me 1 year. Get me elected, pay your taxes for 1 year. If you don't see a change, you don't pay taxes ever again. I've been on mayor for 5 years. They said, we can try that. So I was elected by 86% of the people. First term. I went back to those villages to thank them for the trust. But now, I have to rely on them. I cannot develop the city. It is not about me, it is about them. I went to these 44 villages and repeat the same message that I need them to pay their taxes. The first year, the response was not as high as I had expected. We went from below 10% to 68%. I was expecting about 80%, but that was a good jump. So tax collection went from less than 10% to 68%. It was a test. What is he going to do with the money? If we don't see the impact, then we have 4 years of not paying taxes. So it was a bet. But in reality, when I got the tax money, I sit in my office and look at the money and call because I have 4 deputy mayors. I said, well, we have a choice. We can take the money and spend it now on priorities that we believe are priorities, or we can invite the citizens to the village to come. We can have a conversation and we understand clearly the priority of these villages. We agreed on that lot of decisions. So every quarter, the city of Ouélessébougou will host 2 representatives of each of the villages will come and sit. They now own the city. The mayor is an executive working on their behalf. And that is exactly what the code or the law of collectivity is in mind. Citizens participation. So they came and participate every 3 months. They were looking to the book, how much money was paid. Just like the representative said, we have the role of the village. Who paid what? Who did not pay and why? And the villages consult and we discuss all day long to come to an understanding of how much money now is in the corporate and who needs to contribute more and where the money should go. At the end of the day, this eldest quorum, that I call it the eldest quorum, it is not part of the traditional institutional aspect. This is something I created for the sake of transparency, but for the sake of building awareness and communication between the mayor's office and the stakeholders. So because of this, the second year, we went to 75%. In 2012, we were expecting about 90%. But that will lead me to briefly take a break and talk about political situation in Mali. As things were beginning to improve in Ouélessébougou, let me mention first that Ouélessébougou was ranked 699 out of 703 cities in terms of governance, tax collection, and other criteria. In 3 years today, Ouélessébougou ranked number 7 out of 703 cities. In 3 years. Now, government saw what was happening. They said, hey, this city that was failing is not succeeding, and we are not doing anything. We need to do something to take credit. Government came and built the largest hospital in the area for $1.2 billion American dollars. They also came and built the largest solar panel field in all of West Africa. You know what? That big in Nigeria. This is the city. So they built this in my area. They also came and built a high school, the first public high school in my area for $1.4 million. Now, Ouélessébougou suddenly became a success story. Government now took the credit. It's not about us. They want to tell everybody that here is what we did for the city of Ouélessébougou. And we accepted praise. But we know what is happening in Ouélessébougou. People now, villagers used to travel 70 kilometers on bike